Henshaws. This video is free to watch thanks to the kindness of our donors. If you would like to donate £10 towards our work, you can do so by texting Henshaws to 70085.
My name's Shaun Hayward. I'm a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. I do ballroom dancing now and have worked in studios and many other things. I have an eye condition called Retinitis Pigmentosa. I was re-diagnosed with Leber's, congenital amaurosis, but I think they've gone back to Retinitis Pigmentosa now because they're very similar. And it's a congenital condition, so I've had it from birth. I didn't notice losing my sight at first. It was my granddad that noticed when I was about 3. And he said to my mum and dad, I think, there's something wrong, because I turned to look at him and didn't walk towards him, walked somewhere else. And so they sent me away to, get tested, like there's something wrong with the eyes, and it turned out that I had RP, and this was very rare at the time, seemingly, which we all know it isn't now. Growing up was kind of, it always is normal because I had partial sight, I had quite good sight. I could ride a bike, even though, I may ride that bike into a wall occasionally. But we're kids, we're fearless, we're made of rubber. And so the impact against other kids' lives, I suppose, felt that you did feel different. But at that point, I didn't use a cane because I didn't need to. My sight was good enough. But occasionally you would maybe appear weird, because you're a teenager and you're not looking the right direction. And consequently, it did fall into quite a bit of bullying in my teen years. Sight loss it impacts your life in two ways. You have two choices: how you believe it impacts it, you as an individual every day you get up, or how society impacts it. Those are the two main things, really. And unfortunately, I still believe this, that whatever you want to do as a blind person, you better make sure you're 10 times better than anyone else at it to get that job, to get that gig, whatever it is. And it's still the same now, unfortunately. I really believe that. But that should never, ever, ever stop you believing. We get one shot, so give it your best and enjoy it. And I hate the phrase, but just, enjoy the journey of it. The times that make me laugh as a blind person, are quite self-deprecating, like you walk into a lamppost and say sorry. That's a belter. Sorry, mate. Oh, okay. You are concrete. You are steel. You are not flesh and blood. When I'm dancing, the funny thing about dancing is that when you're in the flow of it and you're really great and you're leading the lady, you're having a great time, the song finishes, she goes, "Oh, thank you very much," and just walks off. Then I'm just there in the middle of the dance floor going, okay, she has forgotten I'm blind, which is a massive compliment, but quite hilarious at the same time. Preconceptions about people with sight losses, they vary, I mean, in the old days, people would go, "Does he take sugar?" It's all that talking over your head, not talking to you. And that still can occur with certain generations. Yeah, there's still, I don't know, there's a pity, but there's also and amazement. You know, people go, God, you know, you're getting around doing that. I couldn't do that. And I always try and say that you're not there yet, so maybe you could, you know. But that comes down to that whole thing of, you know, you're an inspiration. And I always say, well, that's all right as long as you've gone and done something with that inspiration. And, you know, you've actually, you know, not just use it as some kind of click on Facebook. Well, you have no choice. Like I say, you got one shot, and some days it's a great day. You know, I always say it's either a sunny day or a suicide day. You know, and that's kind of like where it goes for me. But that's because I'm an arty, you know, and I have that kind of depressive part of my brain. And but the other side of that for me is that I get up and shoot to the stars above what other people do, but that just boils down to what I coined a phrase a few years ago, and I use it all the time, is that disability happens to people. And then keep it simple as that. So you are who you are, and that's your first block that you've got to build on. So that's what I find hard about a couple of the questions there, is to answer it how, I'm answering it as me, which is quite right, you know what I mean? But it's sort of like, how do I answer it for someone else? Because that individual might just go, well, that's all right for him. I can't make a fucking sandwich. Whereas I can, you know, do a stir fry while I'm playing a guitar. But that's because I'm a cocky twat. You know, I don't know. Anyway, I digress, James. Sorry. I'm going to say something you might, I don't know if I should say it, but it's straight to mind, one of the things I miss the most. A pretty face. Faces. You know, smiles. You're disconnected. From partial sight, you know, it was okay, but then when the sight went and I was going through Charles Bonnet syndrome, which I didn't know what it was at the time, I thought I was just going crazy. Now it's all well known, you get told about it, so the impact is less than it is. As horrific it is to live with, it's difficult, because you're left with eyes and teeth and all sorts of things, and they're generally not very nice. So you have to learn to put your brain into different sections of listening to something while someone's talking, and then then you know, but seeing this crazy teeth and eyes and hair and whatever, Nightmare on Elm Street sort of stuff going on in front of you, which has absolutely nothing to do with the situation you're in. Missing the reality, you know, the beautiful face, the pretty, the smiles, all that stuff, shiny eyes, you know, really nice stuff. And the only thing that I found to help me through that daily grind of horror faces is to see the beauty in it and accept it. Because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. For anyone with Charles Bonnet syndrome, they talk about using all sort of like mind-numbing drugs and things like that, and it's no good, I don't think, personally. If you're really tough, of course, what you need is what you need. You're an individual. But for me, I truly believe in acceptance as your first step. It's really depressing, James, you know, because it takes a lot of energy. And there's times where dancing is beautiful. When I'm dancing, don't go away, you just forget about it. And that's all you can do. So they'll put you on these, like, you know, benzos or something. Like, I can go and get a shitload of diazepam, but it was never my drug of choice, you know. I used to, you know, I was a big weed smoker for years and years and years. But I quit that a couple of years ago. And, you know, just because you drink anything, and booze, you know, anything to cope, booze kind of numbs it a bit. Because there's nothing. But the drugs they want to give from the doctors just numb you as a person. And they want to use antipsychotic medication. They tried to give me that, and I said, for God's sake, I said, how does like putting on 5 stone and like having a slack jaw all day, how that's going to make me fucking happy? You know, how is that going to make my world better? And they just don't get it. because it's very hard. And I say everyone gets it different, you know. Some people get it where they see really nice, lovely things. And I got the broken biscuit one. So yeah, it's tiring. But again, focus, play music, go to the gym, just keep moving, you know, is the key. And I wanted to get that into the interview because a lot of people suffer with it and don't talk about it still, the elderly especially. Because it can happen in partial sight. So you could be having your bowl of cornflakes, for example, and all of a sudden that bowl of cornflakes can turn into a bowl of spiders. And especially that elder person might go, and they won't say a word because they're terrified that their family are going, oh, they're losing it. We need to, you know, put them in the home. They're not losing it. It's their visual cortex springing up, you know, trying to put information into the picture that has been taken away. So if you have a photograph and in that photograph there's a void, you'll see that void, but your brain is so amazing, you'll go, I'll put something in there. So that's what it does in partial sight. But then when you end up in total blindness, you're in you're in with the crazy seahorses, you know. It's very hard to sing about, say, Charles Bonnet. I wrote a couple of lines down, but now I don't want to do that because I'm not about, you know, going, I am blind, you know what I mean? I am not about that anywhere. I write songs about things that happen, and then I have to run with the picture of what it is. So, you know, it's more about, the lyrics are about the emotion of what you're trying to do, because it's all we all are trying to do, is trying to describe something. But it has been a really hard slog to get to this level as a writer, because of not having the visual input. You go, oh, that happened over there. You know, I saw you getting on the bus today, you know, and a lot of songs have these things in the little encounters. So I have to kind of make the story up in my head. But again, when I'm writing a love song, then whoever is the muse at that time that you're concentrating on, you just sing about the beauty of it or the pain of it, and not your gorgeous blonde hair or your lovely nice veneers that you've had done at the dentist. It's all the rage. Sorry, you've had done in Turkey. They were lovely except for those in the middle. Anyway. My tip to coping with sight loss, I think my number one would be to forgive yourself. And that's it, just universally use that. Forgive yourself for whatever mistakes you feel you make, things that you feel you're getting wrong, the things that you feel you can't do now, or anything, all of those emotions. Just always try and hit the forgiveness reset button. And it's not easy to remember that when you're in difficult times, but if you can, it's invaluable. If you've just found out that your sight is pretty much screwed, you're going to think, well, that's me pretty much screwed, really. So I would say the first thing you need to do is ignore that voice in your head, if you can. But just take time. Take time to readjust to your situation, because you're still you. You're still the person that you were. That ain't ever gonna change. People around you might change, you know, or other things might change, but you're still you. And we live in such a brilliant world of technology now, with the smartphones, the PCs, the headsets you can wear that tell you where streets are as you're walking. and where everything, shops are and all this stuff, that, you know, your world is not as closed as you think. So hang on, you know, learn as much as you can. And if you're somebody that's fear of technology, don't be. You think, I can't get it. Just remember muscle memory. Just keep doing it over and over. Get the help you can. Do it over and over. It will come right. Because you're here and you're now. And as I say, you're still you. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm Shaun, and thanks very much for listening to my thoughts.
Our videos are helping people around the world to go beyond expectations. If you enjoyed this video, please donate to us using the links in the description below, or the text donation number 70085 to give £10 instantly. Thank you. For costs and terms, please see the description below.